Where's my drive button? Cool. Think we're live. We're looking good on the other stuff on your
Uh,
end.
Not up on Twitch yet.
Give
Let
it
me check
just a
Facebook.
yeah. Give it just a second. We should be live. I've got Twitch on here. Let me hit the multi-stream button so I can see all the things.
Okay, cool. We are up on Facebook.
Dope. And then here's the notes. Why is
Yep.
Africa in my head?
Folks who are watching on Facebook, we'll be right with you in a hot sec.
We're just
We're just having some technical difficulties.
yeah. Sorry about that, folks. So we have this thing set up basically in our streaming platforms to where it's like these various programs are okay. Yeah, we're live on Twitch. We have various
Sick.
streaming platforms that we use for different things, and we try to keep it systematic and functional. But sometimes when we hop from one person's computer to the other person's computer, oh, it's not red shirt rejects.
It gets a little.
Dang. Apparently I missed that button. Sorry, my bad, Lindy Fitness. But I'm wearing a red shirt. If that counts for anything.
Hmm.
Haha. Where's the copy button? So basically, whenever we try to swap back and forth between Kenny's computer and my computer, if it's any program besides Streamlabs, it doesn't like it. What is that button? Drop frames. That's not good.
Drop
Anyways,
tables.
dropping tables, flipping tables. So if anything happens where we try to swap between Kenny's computer and my computer, if we do anything besides Streamlabs, the programs usually don't like that we did that. So the program that we were using didn't want to import any of the settings from Kenny's computer, so
Hmm.
I just switched to a different one, and we
Remake.
basically remade the whole thing. So yeah,
NBD.
yeah,
Wow, I look like
basically.
a straight potato on on Twitch.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be my just connection right now. I don't know why, because you're coming in like potato quality at my house, and I'm not really sure what my internet problems are right now. But yeah,
It's all good.
although I have some.
I'll host next time. I got 100 up, 100 down over here, and I yell at Comcast anytime it drops below that.
See, I'm supposed to have 1,000 up and 1,000 down, so I'm real mad right now.
Ooh wee. You based off of the my Mr. Potato Head face on Twitch, I would guess you do not have 1,000 up and 1,000 down.
Yeah, I might try to like see if I can hop in between. That's probably not a good idea. I was gonna swap the internet connection real quick, but that's not a good idea, especially because
Nah,
we're live.
let's leave it alone.
Yeah.
But
So
speaking of things that are a good idea, watching Shang-Chi.
yeah, man, that movie looks so good. Like,
It
woo.
was good. This week, Shang-Chi shattered Labor Day box office records, making 85 or blah, $83.5 million.
There's so many dollars you couldn't even
The
say it straight.
right, I've messed up almost every digit. Other films that were marketable that held similar records were Rob Zombie's Halloween remake in 2007, that was the previous record holder at 30.6 million out of a 4-day weekend. It also makes the second biggest 3-day pandemic movie debut at 71 million behind Black William. That's not correct.
Black Widow.
Yeah, that's not math. Um, I guess they're referring to Rob Zombie's Halloween, but whatever. But yeah, Shang-Chi shattering records, and it's very deserved. The movie, we'll probably talk about it later in the show, but the movie does a lot. It does a lot, and it does a lot well. So highly recommend it.
Nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. I haven't had a chance to like run out of the house to go do it, and I'm kind of like a little bit paranoid about it if I'm honest, but because the whole
Hmm.
Delta variant or whatever variants are running around right now. But I really want to see it, and I'm really excited about it. Like, it looks really good, and to hear that it's getting like all these records broken and it's getting all these like good reviews on it, like makes me really excited. Kenny will probably come in on Wednesday and talk more about it though, but that's good news for the movie business though, because people were worrying about whether or not we were still going to have movies and stuff like that. And to see Shang-Chi coming out and just busting records out, like that's a good symbol, in my
Yeah, and
opinion,
it
anyways.
wasn't. We went to the theater to see it, and we went to like an IMAX theater, and it was on a Saturday night, so it was the high what I estimated to be as many people as there would ever be in a movie theater during the week would be there on a Saturday night. And it wasn't that bad. Like there was a
Nice.
sizable amount of space between seats. I didn't feel like extra claustrophobic. It wasn't people not even 3 seats away from me. So I was feeling pretty good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, we've got some
Um.
other not movie news really, but it's more like television related news. Um, so
Yeah.
Michael K. Williams, the star from Lovecraft Country and The Wire, passed away today at age 53, and I don't know. That sucks. Like that's such a young
Yeah.
age.
That is a young age.
I didn't get to watch very much of Lovecraft Country yet. I've seen like little bits and pieces of it thus far, but I just got HBO Max, so I'm excited about it. But I don't know, man. Like that's such a young age. I can't imagine. I don't know. It's weird for me to think about that because I'm like 33. I'm like, oh, that's only like 20 years away. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Being alive was only like 20 years away.
yeah. Have you watched Lovecraft Country at all?
I have not, although I did see a sizable amount of The Wire, but I don't think I ever watched the end of it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that's a shame. Sorry to hear that. We're actually in a move of the unprecedented. Given well, I guess the Shang-Chi really should have went into the cinephile section,
We
but
ain't
we're
got no
skipping
kitty,
over the
so we ain't got no
cinephiles.
movie news.
We're skipping over the cinephile section. But it being the currently the Jerry and Steve Nerd Union, we're gonna jump right into game time. Um, so what we got, I'm gonna briefly touch on Activision Blizzard because I don't like to spend a lot of time on them these days, but I will just keep folks abreast of what's going on. So California is expanding their lawsuit against Blizzard. The long and short of it is they basically believe that Blizzard is like sending stuff to the shredders, and they're trying to hide information and hide HR reports that have come through and all that sorts of stuff. They attest that they aren't, but basically, the California government, who's lobbying registering a lawsuit against them, feels that they're not operating in good faith, and so the suit's being expanded. Well, it's more two things. The suit's being expanded within the realm that it will also include contractors for the company, but also that they feel like they're not operating in good faith. And so they're taking some extra steps to throw extra penalties at them because they have reports that basically they're taking stuff to the shredders. So that's not activating in good faith or acting in good faith. The company that they hired to be the intermediary between the company and its employees for reporting HR stuff is what's known as a what's the word? A union buster, who almost always, like 99% of the time, always sides with the company. So these are a number of factors that say, like, you're not actually trying to fix anything, you're just trying to absolve yourself of any wrongdoing, which ain't gonna happen. So
Yeah.
that's going to be the only Activision Blizzard news that we follow up on for quite some time. It will basically be them getting sued.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
Um,
it's gonna be every week or every other week find out more news about that lawsuit because it's not going anywhere, and we don't really want to talk about much else with them. So,
yeah,
but
not a good company right now.
something I do want to talk a lot about though is Metroid Dread. Holy
Yeah.
cow! Have you seen that trailer,
Yes, I have. It looks
dude?
pretty fresh.
All right, so we don't have a YouTube or we don't have a video to pull up right now because of all our technical difficulties we've been having tonight. But if you go to YouTube, you can check out the Metroid Dread trailer. It looks phenomenal. First off, like this is something I didn't expect
Hmm.
to even desire in the first place. Like was another like Castlevania or Metroidvania style Metroid where it's like side scrolling. But first of all, it looks great. The robot enemies, the what is it, the Emmy? Like that thing's terrifying just because like your weapons don't work on it, so it's got Metroid Fusion vibes all over again. For those of y'all who
Great. An
remember,
enemy I have to run from.
yeah, remember the trauma of the SAX showing some up somewhere, and you're like, oh crap. So it's basically like that, but there's multiple of them. And this time we got to see a Chozo, and I don't mean in the sense of like when you find a Chozo upgrade. I
A
mean
zombie.
like you found an actual walking, living Chozo, and that's
Hmm.
never happened before.
Yeah, we never get to see that. So I'm really excited to see how this goes because our perception is, yeah, Chozo's good guys, because they're all dead and we don't interface with them and basically just use your technology. But I mean, what's this particular Chozo like? Are they there to help you? Are they there to like push you to get better? Are they just there to dunk on you and make you die?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Nobody knows. Yeah, this is. I don't know. It was intimidating looking though. Like that thing was terrifying. So
Speaking of things that are also intimidating, new Saints Row game has been announced. The cinematic trailer dropped just last week or this past week, depending on how your pandemic time dilation works. But the new Saints Row, from the looks of it, or at least the understanding, is that it seems to be a what's the word? An updated remake of the first Saints Row. Given how bonkers, but not superpowers or president or whatever bonkers level that it is. It just seems to be regular gang violence bonkers, which makes everybody think, okay, this is a remake of the first game. But the cinematic trailer just came out. The game's slated to currently release February 25th of next year, 2020. Wait, 2022.
yeah, 2022.
Um, but it looks pretty cool. It's just a cinematic trailer. You don't get any gameplay with that. But if you've played any of the Saints Row games before, you know how wild that series is, especially the latter three games. If you haven't played it, basically imagine that a company years ago was like, "Yo, let's make a game that's like Grand Theft Auto, but focuses on gang violence." And then the second game gets approved, and they're like, okay, we're never gonna be Grand Theft Auto, but let's get like as wild as we can. And then in the third game, I believe the gang leader that you are, becomes president of the United States, and I think in the fourth one you get superpowers. So yeah. Or
Saints
no.
Row.
The third one you become the mayor. The third one you become the mayor, and the fourth one you become the president. That's it.
Saints Row is such like a wild game series. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely bonkers.
Like I just don't get it. I'm like, how is this game like what? It's not what I thought it was when I first like heard about it. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
to
because
see.
it seems like, oh, this is just a GTA clone.
Yeah, and then it's not like it's so much more. But yeah, we'll have to see more of what's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen with that. But another news of like I don't know, big humongous games. So some of you guys, when the PS5 came out, you heard about like they were going to do like free upgrades from like the PS4 version to the PS5 version if you bought like an older one. Xbox has been doing some of the same things between Xbox One and Xbox Series X/S. PlayStation came out and said that they were not going to do that for Horizon Forbidden West. And then they doubled back on it because folks got mad, as they do at PlayStation.
Yep.
And yeah, because it'd be like that. And then it's sort of doubled back on it. So they're gonna do an upgrade, but you still have to pay for it. But it's only gonna be like $10, I think. But it kind of ends the whole like we're gonna do free upgrades between PS4 to PS5, which I don't know. Like I get that you want to make sure that you're getting your bottom lines done, but I don't. It just seems like a weird
Yeah.
move. Like,
Well, for them, supposedly their angle was that the specific phrasing was that release titles on the PS5 will get or release games, I think was the particular phrasing, will have a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5. And they were like, oh, well, Horizon Zero Dawn got moved out of the original release window for launch games or whatever. So it's no longer eligible. That's fine. And they're like, no, because like they didn't allude to like, oh, hey, these launch titles are gonna be free upgrade, but then after that, you're gonna have to pay a fee. They never said that. They just
yeah,
implied that it would always be free. So people continue to do what they usually do, and they're like, oh, we're not going to give you free upgrades from PS4 to PS5, and it's like PS5 is still a console which has been scalped to hell.
yeah,
So it's like it's not impossible to obtain, unless like if you're not willing to put in any effort whatsoever, then you're gonna have a hard time. Otherwise, just like literally ask your local distributor when they get their shipment and just show up when you're supposed to. That's all you got to do. But if you're not going to do that, you're going to have a bad time. If you're just walking into Best Buy on a random Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, whatever, trying to get a PS5, it's not going to work.
Yeah, you ain't gonna find nothing.
You
And
got
I
to
was
put the
looking
legwork
online
in.
the other day, and they're like running for $899 right now on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
It's
about right.
wild to me. But I don't know, like if you want to move your players over to your PS5 ecosystem still, like one, I guess I would say I would have said in outside of a pandemic, increase production of your consoles, but I know that there's a chip shortage and all sorts of things happening like that too now.
Mm-hmm.
But also, why not just move? I don't know. Like the previous way to do it would just be like make them new console exclusive. But I guess you don't want to do that because people can't get your
It's because
consoles.
you already have a bunch of games that were like slated to come out for PS4, PS5,
Mm-hmm.
and because there are so few people who have a PS5 relative to their existing market, if
Mm-hmm.
they made it only for PS5, like they just simply don't have enough consoles, so there would just be a bunch of people who just can't get that game. So it would greatly negatively impact their sales if they did that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in 2-3 years time, of course it makes sense. It's like, all right, we're not gonna make this stuff for, PS4 anymore. But probably honestly, if you make something for PS5, I don't know what the technical requirements of going from 4 to 5 are, but it might be a super low hanging fruit to be like, oh yeah, there's still people who have PS4, so I'm gonna release this game on PS4.
Yeah. Like
Or what's it called? Cyberpunk 2077. The technical deficit of trying to do a game of that magnitude on PS4 and Xbox whatever
mm-hmm.
um is so
ABCD.
great, in addition to just trying to accomplish your mission objective, that it's a major detriment, and you probably shouldn't, Cyberpunk probably should have just said, we're just going to go new gen, and if you want to play it, have a PC, have a PS5, have an Xbox ABC, and there you go.
Can I please get the Xbox ABC? Like, just have. I feel like there's a lot of potential for like a Sesame Street crossover with Microsoft right there.
Probably. It's like, this is the Xbox A, and A is for Apple.
Really, there's just so much marketing. Actually, now I'm thinking of it, there's so much marketing that they could have done by just doing Xbox ABC.
Probably. Yeah, but it doesn't fit the Xbox box XX box format.
I mean, yeah, but also you could have done like the little alphabet blocks with it and had like the Jackson 5 singing in the background in the commercial.
I forgot they were in the Sesame Street crossover. They're in the Sesame Street expanded universe.
Everyone's in the Sesame Street expanded universe. You're in the Sesame Street expanded universe.
Speaking of the Sesame Street expanded universe, you know what I wonder if they have? Bitcoin. We're jumping into check the tech. So soon, from a story reported from Engadget.com, Twitter will soon accommodate your desire, your immense desire that's definitely really big and present and there, to use Bitcoin to tip people on Twitter. Their phrasing is, if you've ever had a funny tweet that you saw and was like, man, I sure do wish I could give that person 0.000002 Bitcoin. Well, guess what's coming down the pipe? Soon you'll be able to send each other Bitcoin. Quote unquote, the researcher and developer Alessandro Paluzzi shared a screenshot that suggested that Twitter is working on just such an option. According to the image, Twitter is planning to use Strike, programming tool, to generate Bitcoin Lightning invoices. It'll harness the Lightning Network with the aim of enabling faster payments with lower fees than the primary Bitcoin network. So basically, you can already send people money on Twitter, apparently, but you'll be able to also use it with Bitcoin. It's not going to go out to everybody right away, is the understanding. It's going to go out to, I think, English countries first, and then probably be expanded beyond that. Unless
Yeah.
I'm conflating multiple Twitter stories that are all back to back and immediately follow this one.
Well, I imagine that it would have to be kind of a situation where it's like the country itself has to approve of the usage of Bitcoin in that country. But then on top of that, it would also need to be a situation where, I don't know, some kind of infrastructure is set up. But the system in and of itself,
Probably taxes. It's probably
yeah,
taxes is the
taxes.
biggest thing.
But I don't know.
Because
It's
like
just,
the country doesn't care. It's like doesn't really care. Like if you send somebody Bitcoin, because Bitcoin you can buy Bitcoin anywhere just because it's a cryptocurrency. It's
yeah,
online. But as far as you being able to buy stuff with Bitcoin, like that's the country problem. Having the Bitcoin is the easy part, depending on where you are. Using the Bitcoin is the harder part, depending on where you are.
right.
Um, but
But here's the other thing about it though. So Reddit has this thing
yeah,
called like moons, and people like tip each other that crypto like all the time on various discussions of cryptocurrency and stuff like that. So like,
yeah.
I guess it wouldn't be that weird of a concept because that part of it exists, or that
Yeah, I
ecosystem
guess it's
exists.
it's functionally the same as giving somebody gold on Reddit because but when you get gold on Reddit or silver on Reddit, I don't think you can do anything with it. But in this form, it's just money. Like you're just giving them money.
Yeah,
Which honestly, I chastise the system for giving someone gold, um, as opposed to just like giving them upvotes or whatever on Reddit. And I was like, oh, this is neat. But like I think you just need to pay money to give somebody gold
yeah,
on
that's
Reddit.
weird.
So I was like, that's stupid because they can't, cash it out. But apparently they can.
I guess it's
But
similar. Like
also,
I was gonna say, it's similar to like YouTube super
mhm,
chats though. Which, by
super
the
chats.
way,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but that's apparently also coming to Twitter, but not like super chats. They're more like super followers.
Indeed.
Yeah. I don't really know how to break this down. Like, I just don't get it.
So basically, let's see. It's all right. So let's jump into the whole story and then we'll break it down. So in addition to other things that are also coming to Twitter, as a report from TechCrunch.com, we have reports of a new feature or more of a safety. Wait. Well, that's two things. Well, we have a new feature coming along called Superfollows. In June, they opened application for that feature, which basically allows users, or I guess content creators, to charge $3, $5, or $10 a month for hidden tweets that are subscriber only. Where have I heard of such a concept? OnlyFans. Um, it's not yet available for everybody. To quote the article, for now the process remains as application only with a wait list. So it's not on. I don't think it's on desktop yet. The option lives in the monetization options in the app sidebar. The users will need to be U.S. based with at least 10,000 followers and at least 25 tweets within the last month to be eligible. So like you have to be. There's like a minimum threshold of monetization capability and like serviceability. So like if you have 100,000 followers but you don't write anything, then you're not monetizable. You're not eligible. If you write stuff all the time and the only people who follow you are like your five closest friends, not eligible. Um, but yeah, the super follows, for my understanding, is basically for the people who are well, all it does is add value to Twitter. So Twitter is basically when you take it amongst the conglomeration of other social footprint stuff. It's basically just a tool that you can use to push things that actually make you money, in a real tangible sense.
Mhm.
Of so I mentioned the OnlyFans thing because like, oh, you can have content hidden behind paywalls or whatever for
Right.
all those chefs and workout aficionados who are definitely on OnlyFans and nobody else.
Yeah.
Uh, because that's what the platform is for.
Right.
But basically you can have that paywall set up so that there's certain information that you want back there. So to give a realistic example, pseudo realistic, if you are like a workout or exercise professional who does have an OnlyFans, you can put your like your push-up routine on like behind a paywall, and then they have to pay for it. Similarly, if you have a Twitter presence already and you're a workout professional or exercise professional, personal trainer. That's the word I'm getting to. My brain is a labyrinth.
Very good.
If you're a personal trainer and you already have that system built up, it basically gives Twitter a reason to say, hey man, you don't need to create, a Patreon or an OnlyFans or whatever to engage in monetization formats. Because Twitter is basically like if you have a whole bunch of followers, you can just get ad stuff.
Right.
And you can generate ads. Like, oh yeah, that's why Raid Shadow Legends. You should give me money because I have all these Twitter followers. And now you can say, Twitter followers, you should give me money because you like the content that I produce. So when I do this stuff, like I create the 10-minute hit routine, or my half-hour push-up challenge, or whatever, I can lock that stuff behind a paywall. And if you want it, you can get it. You don't have to go. I don't have to try to get you to engage and go click on my own personal website to go see that stuff or whatever. I can just slap it on Twitter, slap it behind a $10 paywall or whatever for the month, and then everybody who pays it gets it or something like that. So what it does is it lowers the barrier to entry, because every time you want to get somebody to click on a new button to go to a new website, you start losing people, because it's only
Yeah.
going to be 60% of your followers might click that button, and then 40% of those might click the $5 button, and only 10% of those might click the $10 button, or whatever. So basically, it's kind of like giving people a reason to push their Twitter following harder. So that because they can make money from it, and they don't have to try as hard to use it as a leverage point to get other stuff on app names like Snapchat or Instagram or OnlyFans or Patreon or whatever.
Yeah. That actually is a lot of good points about that. That would add a lot of value to Twitter. Yeah, like I can't argue with any of that. I had something else I was thinking about with that. I'm trying to remember. Oh,
The safety mode thing?
No, not the safety mode. It's just more about the like whole subscriber thing. I mean, it'd be cool. Oh, I remember. It would be cool to see if they could like combo it together with like some other like pre-existing subscription service, or like create some sort of subscription service where it's like Amazon Prime. So like on Amazon Prime, like yeah, I have Amazon Prime, but I can also use my Amazon Prime to get other content for various things that I do. And on Twitch, I can take the Amazon Prime membership, plug it into Twitch, and then get a subscribe where I can do like some random subscribe that I want to do each month and give that person money for their program.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so you know how you normally have to pay for that? Like you get one subscribe each month and then you can like resubscribe each month. It comes with your Amazon Prime membership.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it'd be cool to
neat.
see Twitter do something like that with it too. You get like X amount of like either subscribe like unlocks on a link or something similar to that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know enough about like I guess the purpose of the feature to kind of see how it would fit together, but it does sound neat.
Yeah, we'll have to wait to see more of like how it actually plays out though. And you want to talk a little bit about the safety feature they're coming out with?
Yeah, so Twitter's on fire this week. Twitter's on fire this week is basically long and short of it. They got tons of stuff coming out. So another feature that they have is they are introducing, or rather they're testing, a feature called safety mode that puts up basically like a temporary barrier between a user and what are deemed to be harmful remarks. Excuse me. So this story is coming out of TechCrunch, but the long and short of it is that they're first breaking it out to I think it was about 1,000 English users, because basically this is kind of the long and short of it is a smart bot that is basically going to look at what people are posting or adding. I don't know how Twitter works. Adding at people on Twitter or whatever, and based off of some certain phrases or words or amount of engagement with that person. If you follow them, then you've been following them for a long time. Maybe your comment is considered to be more valuable or more relevant than somebody who does not follow that person and sends them a one-off message that's basically flaming.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they're putting in a system which will, when enabled, will remove or block these kinds of posts from coming through to a user's account for 7 days. And basically, it's a number of, or one of what Twitter has alluded to developing on like anti-abuse features, and this is one of them that they're coming out with, basically to help reduce harassment of individuals from their end, so that they can engage with Twitter without getting blasted by angry people on the internet who feel the need to say something mean.
Hmm. I mean,
And
yeah.
based off of like the number of what was it? Based off the number of people who have been harassed for like their roles in cinema or whatever, this is something that I definitely think is beneficial, because there's been enough
Yeah.
people in the past, even the past 5 years, who have been harassed by folks on Twitter just because they played a role in a film or something like that, and then they're being harassed constantly, and they have to delete their Twitter and disengage from the internet and go to therapy and do all that stuff. So anything that can help lessen that, even on a smaller level, if students are being online harassed or bullied or whatever, and they can activate this feature and disengage from that kind of stuff, I think is good. So Twitter, supposedly they're working on the English version of this feature first. So supposedly after some testing and refinement, they'll start developing it or training it on other languages as well.
Huh. Yeah, that would actually be really cool. Hopefully, it creates a less toxic Twitter space, but we'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully. I
Yeah.
have like no idea what really goes down on Twitter. I mostly engage with Twitter for memes.
I mean, yeah, Twitter's really good for memes, like really good for memes and hot takes.
Yeah, some of those hot takes aren't so hot, but some of those hot takes are quite hot.
Those lukewarm takes.
Yeah, absolutely regular takes, opinions that everybody should probably have.
Mediocre takes.
Let me see.
Yeah, I think next up on our list, we're going to talk a little bit about some Google Calendar stuff because, I don't know, because everyone wants to know how much time they're spending in meetings and time efficiency and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
This probably actually could have been an email to all of our viewers, but so Google Calendar is soon going to be providing insights on how much time you spend in your workday, including how long you spend in meetings. Basically, just to find out how much time you could be saving if your bosses sent memos instead. Like how much time you could have saved if I just put that in a Facebook status on our page.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but like, I mean, you could just look at your schedule and be like, wow, okay, that's 15 hours. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, but I guess not everybody's like that organized either. Like
Yeah,
I know I as
it's
a
for
person
Google.
am not, but
For Google, it's a real low hanging fruit, because it's just like, yo, sum up all the time that's on your calendar.
I'm kind of
It's
surprised they
under like
haven't
a
done
certain
this already.
designation.
This like
Yeah,
seems like
it
they
does
should.
feel weird that they haven't done it.
Yeah, like how did you guys not think of this like years ago? We had Google
I'm
Calendar for
sure
how
it was
long now?
probably a feature they always had, but like they were like, hey, should we expose to the user? And they're like, who cares?
Yeah, they've had this background analytic the whole time, and they're just like, maybe we'll tell people now.
I mean, I guess it's neat to put on a report, and it's like, wow, everybody who uses Google Calendar spent like 400 million hours in meetings this year. Bonkers.
Yeah, but the cool part about it is like the whole like it's being marketed as this thing called Time Insights, and that part of it, I actually could see some functionality for it between like if people are trying like if people are people who schedule themselves, like being able to like have a statistic box that you can look at to see how much time am I spending doing this each week as opposed to various other things and like shift your time schedules around.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some efficiency to be seen in that, which I know a lot of people that do that on their own, but maybe having a centralized source for it could be good. But also, there's a lot of information for Google to have again, so there's that. But I guess they already have that info, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, they already have it, so it's no big deal.
They know everything.
You've already surrendered. Like the number of times where people will say the word like I don't know, potato salad too close to their phone, and then suddenly they're getting ads for like potato salad restaurants in their area. You've already lost the war. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that will never cease to freak me out.
Yeah, it's always a little weird. Speaking of things that are a little weird, well, no, that's not a good transition. Whatever. New Facebook feature.
No,
So
that's weird.
the aggregate app Flipboard adds a feature to Facebook to stop the quote-unquote dreaded doom scroll. So Facebook is preparing to adjust its news feed to de-emphasize political posts and current events, But the newsreader Flipboard is instead rolling out an update that puts users in control of their own feed. Excuse me. The company announced this morning that the launch of a new controller on the cover of its own newsfeed, aka For You feed, will now allow users to select topics to follow and deselect those they no longer want to hear about. Much in the same way that you can customize subreddits. The feature, which Flipboard dubs an antidote to doom scrolling, allows users to customize their For You feed to deliver a wider selection of stories of their various interests instead of focusing on their homepage on breaking news and politics. So yeah, that's a great feature for Flipboard. I mean, I think Facebook de-emphasizing political ads is, you know, a what's the word I'm looking for? A move for a positive move for the mental health of a lot of people who use Facebook. Um, for Flipboard specifically, I don't use this tool, but I think it's great to be able to customize what you want to see on a particular board, because then it gives you the reason to have multiple feeds of like, oh, cool, I want my news feed here. I want, anybody who I trust. So let me grab, BBC. That's probably it. And that's
it's so true.
But yeah, you can grab whatever you want and kind of curate like a list of things that you want, much in the same way that subreddits work. Although, if you do it with news stories or with information or news, whatever, it gives you a little bit more control because it's not coming just from, random posts by people on the internet, which arguably, I guess, sometimes news stories are too, but they shouldn't be.
Yeah. I've got two thoughts about that. One, this also seems like one of those features that should have happened a while ago. And two, you said doom scrolling and my lights immediately started flashing and I was like, that's creepy. But yeah, this is
special powers.
That feature, I feel like I've done a lot of other apps that already have that feature, like from the moment you log in. Like, make a Twitter account, you automatically start picking things you want to see. YouTube does this. Like, something else I started on my phone has the same feature on there. Oh, Pinterest does it.
Yeah. I mean, but basically, it's like having a bucket of stuff and saying like, "Yo, this is my bucket of stuff that's all about video games. This is my bucket of stuff that's all about tech news. This is my bucket of stuff that's all about movie stuff." And it's a feature that a lot of things kind of lend themselves to, but like depending on what like their what kind of content they have access to, like they just might not be in a good space to do it. Where if you only have, I'm not sure, I don't know that much about Flipboard like at all, but if you only have like permissions to draw data from one movie website, then it doesn't really behoove you to give the ability to add a thing that allows you to segregate all the movie information off, because all the movie information is just that one source.
Yeah.
So then it would only serve to draw attention to how little movie information you have. So even if it's a low-hanging fruit, so to speak, depending on what the case or the scenario of the implementation is, you might not. It might make you look bad to implement it.
Yeah. Speaking of things that might make you look bad to implement, Apple is stating that they're participating in a digital driver's license program, which I don't know.
This is the one I missed.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I missed this one. I didn't.
Like, why is Apple going to be involved with this? Like, this is like a state government ID thing. Like, that's my issue with it. Like, I don't mind, like, businesses trying to make things more convenient for you, but to a certain degree, I'm kind of like, this is not something that I want Apple to be doing. Or Google.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't want privatized institutions meddling with the government information stuff.
Yeah.
I prefer to keep all that stuff separate, because if something happens, but like even with banking information, the number of times that private institutions have their databases completely compromised, and the government's like, well, you made an oopsie, don't do it again, bye. And that's the size of the conversation. Like, the less critical information they have, the better. Like, if all they have on me is stuff you can go to City Hall and look up, plus my credit card information, like, I prefer to leave it at that.
Right. This is like, I don't know, like, in my head, I'm like thinking about a hack happening. I'm like, somebody hacking Apple is one thing. Somebody hacking like a government database to get all my info is a different thing. And I don't want those two things to cross over. Like, I realize it still probably happens on the government end, but it's also a government ID. Like, this is the thing that identifies, like, I'm a member of this country legally and I can go do the things legally. Like, I don't want that associated with businesses.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I won't say it's like a slippery slope because on one side it's just your driver's license, but if the driver's license thing, quote unquote, goes well, then that might be like proof of concept or justification, like, oh yeah, let's throw this other critically personal information out there. On Apple's end, like, the reason that they're developing it is because they want the Apple owners to be able to go, quote unquote, walletless, of which a part of that means getting rid of the need for a physical identification card. But I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not about that. Like, I kind of get walletless, but at the same time, I don't because I still have to reach in my pocket to get my phone.
Yeah, I mean, I I like that my wallet and my phone aren't the same thing, so that if I
Mhm.
lose my phone or my phone is stolen, that I don't lose all of the other stuff at the same time. Granted, if it's stolen, 9 times out of 10, if somebody steals my phone, it's because I just left it somewhere, which has never happened. But if somebody were to steal my phone, it would probably be because of that. If somebody steals my wallet, it's probably going to be because I left it somewhere, and which has never happened, and or at least if I left it somewhere, nobody stole it, which has never happened. But I prefer to have those two things separated because if I've lost one, I probably need the other.
Right. Like, this seems like a bad combination of things to me, but I don't know.
It's a system of redundancies.
Yeah. But I don't know. This is like, I really can't figure out how the government is going to go with this. Like, I just don't get it.
Um, well, let's see. Blah blah blah. Only 8 states are doing it. So at least first, Arizona, Georgia, Connecticut, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Utah.
That's a
They
lot of
don't have a
southern
specific
states.
rollout time. Yeah, I
Like, a
guess
lot
so.
more than I thought would be about it.
I mean, eight's not a lot. I mean, on one hand, it's almost 20%, but it's also not a lot.
I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the usual stuff of like, oh, everything's protected from security perspectives and from tampering and theft, and stuff is encrypted, and the ID can only be received by the owner because you have like the Face ID or the Touch ID and that kind of stuff. But we also have had reports of like non or basically non-white people, like Apple's like like Face ID doesn't work, and will like just opens like, oh, this is a like an African American person or an Asian person, and it's like close enough, access granted.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like,
Um,
if this becomes like a database thing where they have access and like to that info, this is me like dangerous scenarioing, but like, say somebody does hack
mhm.
Apple, but they don't tell anybody, and they just start altering like folks' driver's license information and changing things about things for whatever purposes, and I get pulled over, and I'm one of those people who got hacked and I didn't know it. I get pulled over, cop asks for my license, I give them my license, and they're like, "This isn't you. This is a fake ID." Like, I'm in trouble, and I didn't even do anything. Like,
Yeah,
we didn't even.
yeah, or more avenues.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested to